A jolt and then you'll die.
Hey guys, welcome back. Got a great video today. We're going through the shortcuts of all the holes in the brand new map Sakura Garden. So showing you the best route to take so you can get the least amount of shots for all of the different holes. So we'll be using a 4-power club, the VIP Mecha 431, like the other clubs that I've got. I know a lot of you might have lower power clubs because it's a new map, but you can check out the 1-power tips and tricks. And even if you got a 3-power, a lot of these, surprisingly quite a lot of these shortcuts are actually very similar. So you can just follow along, and also as soon as you do get your 4-power, this will help out a lot. So yeah, let's start off straight away with the hole-in-ones, beginning with the Sakura Pond. So this one's quite fun. You just gotta max it off the back wall, and if you get the perfect angle, boom, you can drop down in for a hole-in-one. You can do that for all of the spots, I believe, except the very middle one for some reason doesn't let you do it. So this one here, it goes straight over. So instead, if you're in that spot, you have to do a hard orange around the loop, and then from here it's about a soft to middle yellow, just a bit more than a soft, and it brings you in for a 2. And the other hole-in-one is the Rocky Cove, and we get this one by going off the moving board whenever it is closest to you. That's when you want to hit it. You want to hit it with a middle orange, and obviously trying to get the angle towards the flag, and that's when it comes back about now. You got to wait for the gap, and with a little bit of luck at the end, it brings you in for a hole-in-one. It's easiest if you're on the right starting spots. It can still be done from the left ones as well, but if you're looking for a more consistent route, a middle to hard yellow through that gap there, and then tap it in. Don't go around the half pipe because it rolls you down and it's hard to get the angle for a 2. So now we go to the hole-in-twos, starting off with Terraced Pools. So this one, the first shot's a soft orange, brings you up here nice and perfectly. Then the second shot is a little bit more than a soft orange. Aim it towards the flag, and you got to get a little bit lucky, but that's the general direction and amount of power that should quite often bring you in for a 2. Now for the rock pools, lots of routes to take on this one. The most generic, consistent, just fire it straight forward, then around the ramp, and then a hard green just brings it in for an easy hole-in-3. But it's in the hole-in-twos because there are a few ways to get a 2. The first one is instead of just going straight ahead, what you want to do is go over to the right side, and with a softish orange, just a little bit more than a softish orange, about a middle actually, and if you hit that little bamboo post, it can sometimes chip you through here if you're willing to take the risk, and you can actually get a hole-in-2. And the other way is you can max it off the right wall, and again with a little bit of luck, one way or another, it might bring you through, and again you can just tap it in for a 2. And the other way, if you're trying to get a 2, is to go over to the left side. You can see there's a little ramp sitting in the pond, and if you can get onto that, the second shot, if you can dunk that in, it's about a softish orange, and if you can nail that, that's another way to get the hole-in-2. So now for the bamboo fence, very straightforward hole. You just want to do a soft orange through the lowest part of the gap, and then you can just tap it in with a hard green. Nice and easy, not much else to this hole. Now for Crossy River, 2 different ways depending on your starting spot. If you've got the angle, you're up front, you can max it over here, over that plank, and then from here, with a 4-power, if you just max it off that back wall, seems to be about the perfect power to just bring you straight in for a 2. But if you're further back from the starting spots, you haven't got the angle, then the other way is to just tap it down, try and get as close as you can without getting in the sand, and then from here you just max it, and that's about the perfect power if you get the right aim to also get the hole-in-2. So now we got Boing, also a pretty straightforward hole. With a 4-power it's nice and easy, we just wait for the board, max it off the water. And yeah, that's basically it. I haven't managed to get a hole-in-one. I don't think it is possible, definitely with a 5-power, but maybe someone can prove me wrong. Let's see. So now we move to jump the rocks. A few different ways to approach this one. The most generic, consistent way is just to yellow over to the first one, then a soft orange over to this one. Try and get close to the edge, because here you can just max it over and then just chuck it in for an easy 4. But you can get less shots than that. If you want to go for a 3, you do a teensy bit more than a soft yellow. The first shot is what it's all about. You want to get on the angled piece of land right there, and from there you do a soft red over, and then you can just tap it in for a 3. So if you're willing to pay a little bit of a risk, you can get a 3, it's not too bad. And then the hole in 2 is basically the same route. Keep in mind you can miss the first shot if you don't get far enough. But the hole in 2 is actually really hard with a 4 power, so the hole is too close to bounce and too far away to dunk it. So you can kind of see I had to like chip it off the wall, so it's actually quite hard. But those are a few ways for that one. So now we move on to water slide. It's a pretty cool hole, lots of ways. The most consistent I've found is to do a bit more than a soft orange off that left wall. Then you just max it off the right of that plank. Brings you down here perfectly, and you can do a hard orange off the back wall, and brings you in for a nice hole in 3. So that's quite a good one. That's what I like to use as my basic. But if you're going for a hole in 2, there's a couple of ways you can do it. The first one is to just tap it down, and then you got to go for a dunk. It's not enough room to bounce it, so it's just a straight dunk. From there it was a soft orange. But yeah, that's a pretty risky route. I wouldn't recommend that. And the other way to get a hole in 2, which is pretty hard but less risky than the other one, just to tap it down and then flick it around that half pipe. And if you're lucky, sometimes it will get you in for a 2. But yeah, it's a little bit risky. Depends if you've got the guts. So leapfrog, also a few different ways. Easiest and most consistent is just to fire it over. Then we just tap it down. And the last shot is the hardest one. It's just, you have to do a little bit more than a soft yellow, otherwise you hit the sand. And now you can get it in for a hole in 3. And the other way, the second way, is just to fire it over like normal. But you want to go over to the left side, and then from here you can bank it off this one, and it basically guarantees you a hole in 3. And then the last way, which is pretty cool, you can actually get a hole in 2. You want to get it to the very left, and if you can somehow manage to get up on here, it's about a hard green, and you can pop it into the hole. It's not as easy as that looks, but it's definitely doable. And now the hole in 3s, there's only 2 of them. Starting off with water skipping. This one, you can't max it, so it's about a soft red, otherwise you fall over. And it's pretty straightforward, but I think if you can get there somehow off the first shot, I think you can maybe get a hole in 2, but it's incredibly hard. I don't know if it's possible. Pretty standard hole in 3. Hopefully someone can get a hole in 2. I haven't managed to do it quite yet. And then the very last hole, we've got the Isle of Sand. So instead of going straight over to that one, you want to go over to the left side. You can easily make that. But don't max the shot, otherwise you'll get stuck behind the pillar. Instead, do a soft orange. And from here, you've got the viewpoint to just max it at the hole. And who knows, you might get a perfect dunk like that. It looks insane. It's actually not too bad if you get in that perfect spot. But otherwise, it's just an easy hole in 4. And yes, a hole in 2 is possible, but ridiculously lucky. I haven't managed to get it. That's as close as I got. You can see how it's done, but I definitely wouldn't recommend that because it's super unreliable half pipe, so just take the first route that I showed you. So there we go, guys. Those are the shortcuts for the brand new Sakura Garden. The only 12 holes so far. I'm assuming Miniclip will probably release some more in the future, but that's what we've got so far. Hopefully it helped you out, guys. I'm sure it did because it's a brand new map. So lots of people hopefully found that helpful. Make sure to like and subscribe if it did. Hopefully you guys get your 4 powers soon if you haven't already. Otherwise, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Peace.